Now, you know things are getting bad in the Western video gaming industry when China knows how to make better, diverse characters than the Western games development sphere. And I think this is the thing that we're seeing with the new game that's in beta testing called Mecca Break, which is almost like a Gundam-like mecha game that looks amazing, fascinating, and interesting. And I think everyone is raving about some of the gameplay features that we're seeing, the dynamics, the attacking. This just looks like an all-out fun game that has great designs and almost action-oriented gameplay that seems frenetic and interesting at the same time. And I think that's a lot of stuff riding for a game that's simply in beta testing, that is capturing a lot of attention of people within the video gaming market. A lot of streamers are playing this game, they're having fun, and even I'm waiting for my chance to have a beta test with this game as well. So this game is already in a position to actually gather large market attention, but it's doing so in a fashion in a time where a lot of Western games development companies are failing to get anyone to play their beta games. Specifically, I'm talking about the much lambasted Concord that came out to some abysmal numbers for its beta testing, where most players weren't interested in playing this game. And I think this is a sign of the times where people are just not attracted to a lot of Western games nowadays. And I think it mostly goes back down to character design. And if you look and compare the beta testing for Mecca Break and Concord, you see the staggering difference in players playing these games. You see Mecca Break's numbers peak at around 10,000, which is what you want for a brand new IP that has no name recognition. You wanted to at least get 10,000 people playing your game at its peak, and it's good to have a steady amount of 4,500 people playing your game. This is a sign of you having an active player base, and this is them not accepting every beta tester to actually play the game, because I submitted a request. I haven't got one in a long time. So this is a game that is being heavily requested by people and still in a closed beta right now. And I think this is the interesting thing that we're seeing with the gaming industry nowadays, where these games coming from the eastern side of the video game development sphere are garnering a large amount of attention. You can compare it to what we're seeing with Concord, that peaked at around 2,388 and kept an average around 500 and 800 players playing regularly 24 hours. And I think this is a situation that we're seeing play out within the industry nowadays, where people are just not interested in your game if it's not a game that is bringing about some sort of fascinating intrigue with its gameplay, or just simply has beautiful character designs. And I think that's the thing that I'm making that comparison here. When you compare the character design for Concord, you see the character design we all made jokes about, and you compare it to the character designs that we're seeing with Mecca Break, you see something completely different. Talking about some of the diverse characters and how they look, the characters in Mecca Break look like the typical anime waifu stereotype regardless of their skin color. They have the shape and proportions of a female character that would intrigue and capture the attention of anyone that is playing this game. And I think this is a thing a lot of game players are frustrated with what they're seeing within the video gaming industry nowadays, where these proportions, these looks are avoided at all costs, specifically with a lot of the black female characters in video games. You can see that with Concord, the way they designed and shaped some of the characters, they're made to look very unappealing and almost grotesque in some cases. I think that's what you see with a lot of the character designs in Hollywood and in the video gaming industry, specifically the Western video gaming industry, where it's always trying to perpetuate this look of aggression and unappealing grace. And I think we see this with a lot of the black female characters that we see within the video gaming industry, where it's trying to create a perception which is not 100% valid in real life, because they feel like this is a better representation than the overall beautiful, appealing, and attractive models that we see in previous iterations of the games that came out in the past. They feel like that is a misogynistic take, and you can see with some developers that when they propose beautiful character designs, they just turn them into grocery store aunties. You can see the comparison, a developer for Insomniac saying that when he presented these ideas, they're categorically rejected and replaced with some mid-40s auntie looking type of character that no one really wants to play as. But that seems to be the modus operandi in the video gaming industry nowadays, is to make everything ugly and unappealing, specifically when it comes to diverse characters. So it's fun to see that what we're seeing in China specifically is where they don't care about that. They're here to make beautiful character designs, and we're seeing that kind of play out with this new game Mecca Break, which already looks like an amazing game. I'm always a sucker for any type of mecha Gundam like game, so anything that is like that, like Armored Core or something oriented in that direction, you have my attention. But I think what's grabbing people's attention the most about this new IP itself is the character creator, where you can go into a lot of details and the shape and actual look and appeal of the character design. And I think that's the thing that people are actually really embracing, especially a lot of the diversity of the characters, where you can have a diversity of beautiful characters that you can create that are well proportioned and look feminine and appealing. I think this is the basic thing that you're supposed to do in gaming. You're supposed to make characters where they actually build some sort of gravity between the players and just the people watching the game. And I think this is a situation that we're seeing with Mecca Break, where the character creation just allows you to make something that you would want to see in the game that you're playing hours for. And I think this is something that Concord, the developer, I think Firewalk Studios, they refuse to understand. They're more invested in their personal political leanings rather than actually appeasing the fan base and the things that they want to see in the gameplay. And I think that is a thing that used to be popular, common knowledge within games development spheres, where you're supposed to make something that will keep the player playing the game and actually attached to their character. And I think what we see when we see these new school games like Concord that are more focused on presenting their personal ideals of what they want you to believe in, and at least when it comes to the attractiveness and appeal of these characters, no one is responding. And I think it's obvious when you look at some of these character designs, where it's just like, oh, okay, is this just HR putting themselves in the game, a bunch of old aunties forcing themselves into the game? Because it seems like that's the case, because there is no young character in this game. And I think that's the situation that we see most of the time in the modern day video games development sphere. So that's why any other developer that's out there from China and the East and Korea, they have free reign in this market right now, because no one is appealing to players that actually want to look at a very attractive and appealing game. And you add to that this game, Mecca Break, coming from China, being an overall Gundam mech warrior game with beautiful anime waifus or whatever, the beautiful women in that mech suit, that is going to attract major attention. And it seems like a lot of these Eastern games developers realize, okay, we have a good game here, we just add a beautiful character, we're going to make hundreds of millions of dollars, because no one in the West is trying to make a game like this, because they refuse to make a game like this. It's against their political leanings. And I think this is a massive opportunity for games developer companies within China and Korea to take the advantage away from Western games developers as they perish and go under and break up, because that's all we're seeing from Western games developers. We're seeing companies that are going out of business, having massive layoffs, and no one's going on to any bigger success. So Mecha Break has a chance of capturing a large audience, and I think it's already doing that with its character creation. And just look at the gameplay. I just want to play this game simply. I don't really care about the character creation. I want to play this game because it just looks like epic fun. So this is a game I'm looking forward to. I hope it comes out within this at least last quarter of this year. I don't know exactly when it's coming out, but it seems like it's just in alpha testing, so we probably have to wait another year or so before we see anything else. But you tell me what you think about the game. I like to hear your thoughts. It seems like they're getting the word out there about Mecha Break. I think it's a game that will be popular in the coming years, and hopefully you guys like the commentary I have about it. I think this is a game that is going to be something people are going to be looking forward to in probably late 2025. I was hoping for late 2024, but seeing it's in alpha testing, we have to wait more than a year for that. So probably next November we might be able to see this game. But this is a game I'm hyped for. But it's funny to see China actually make better African American designs than Western game developers, and it is cool to see that actually make that progress in China and these Asian countries, where people are always accusing them of not knowing what to do with these black designs, and here is them doing it better than anyone else in the West. And I think you can look at the comparisons. It's obvious China knows how to make it better. But you leave your comments, tell me what you think about the situation. I like to hear your comments about Mecha Break and how it's quietly building a fan base out of nothing. And I think this is the best part of this new indie market, of these new developers coming out of East Asia. They're able to build a market because the market is starving for their type of games, and this is going to be an exciting time to be a gamer that likes East Asian games. But you leave a comment, tell me what you think. Like, comment, share, subscribe. This is Wagner Knows Why. Catch you next time.